Hello, everyone. I am a bit late, but I am here and I have Coach Kim with me. Coach Kim, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here again.
Yes, amazing. I love your posters. Change how I think. The power
I
to
have I have the power to change how I think. Yep.
think. Beautiful.
I
Love
can
it.
ask for help
Love
when
all the
I need it.
posters.
Yeah. Yeah, I finally got something on my blank
Beautiful.
wall.
Awesome. I like it.
Yeah.
So let's bring ourselves here now. So today's topic was chosen by Coach Kim. Do you want to share with us what that is before we go here so we can have the conversation about our past and the future based on that? Do you want to share what you brought us today?
Yeah, sure. It's actually a personal experience instead of a coaching experience that I found myself in about a year and a half ago. And not unlike a lot of people, I think these days, I found myself in this toxic work environment and I was burned out and I was stressed, and it led to mental health challenges and physical health challenges. And I was trying to get through it and then discovered nervous system regulation and readiness OS. And it changed everything for me. So that's what we're going to be talking about.
Beautiful. So let's talk about toxic workplace today for a change. We always talk about parents and all that other stuff. So, when you were in that situation, Kim, how was your past conversations where when your brain takes over and takes you to the past? What does it usually say about all these things that were going on? What was that
Yeah,
conversation?
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the way I was being treated by a couple of the supervisors was really bringing up a lot of my past and some of my negative thoughts about myself,
Mm,
um, and it I was living in the past in the now, if that makes sense. So like I was much of what I was experiencing that led to all of the stress and the physical ailments that I was experiencing were how I was interpreting and how I was internalizing the um, the words that were being said to me and the behaviors that were existing to me. So it was really
so
hard to be in the present because it just kept dragging me back to the past and what I experienced when I was younger.
yeah, so it brought back all those memories for you, bringing it so that even though you're in the now experiencing this, it brought in all of those stories to almost
Yes.
compound to this pressure.
Yes.
Yes. So that's pretty intense, right? That's
It was
really
very intense. I ended up on 5 medications, two
wow.
blood pressure medications and some mental health medications. And that fixed some of the symptoms, my high blood pressure, the migraines I was getting, some of the anxiety. But it wasn't until I did a total like readiness system shift that I was able to actually experience some of the relief.
Yes. So if you're at a workplace right now and you are in a toxic situation with toxic, supervisors or somebody higher than you, or even like coworkers, sometimes
Coworkers.
it's
Yeah.
coworkers, it could be very toxic, right? I know some of my nieces share with me how toxic some people are, like trying to get them out of the job, try planning all these things, saying negative things behind their back, creating like a WhatsApp chat where they exclude them out of it and they all talk about them in a group chat. Like, can you imagine? Like, grow up, right? Like,
Right.
you're adults, no? I mean, this sounds like less than a grade 2 or 3 would do.
Right, right. It's like 10-year-old behavior.
Like, so yeah, she was pretty devastated too. Sometimes I tried to help her, but when you're in it, it's so hard to think about, right?
It is so
It's
hard.
so hard.
So hard.
Yeah, that's why I always think, like, flow and all these things we talk about. But when you're in there, if somebody says about flow or breathe, you're just like want to say the F word to them, right? Like, do you not know what I'm going through?
Right. Well, and it wasn't just me that was experiencing what I was experiencing. There were a number of people that ended up having to go on medications or that had visits to the ER. And so when you're in that space and and many people are in that space, that in and of itself is unhealthy, because you're like commiserating and complaining, and you're like living in that negativity. And that doesn't help either.
No, no. So going in the past in those moments is going to bring us, you were right. You're right. Because I have even had that too. Even in networking events and stuff, if somebody's rude or someone's like ignoring or something, we directly go into our old patterns, right? Which is not something you carry in the present, but we pick it up from the past and we go, oh, it's happening to me again. It's that thing that's happening to me again. It was the same feeling I get, right? So everything matches. So, if you're at work and it is happening to you right now, I know I just told you that if I say you need to find flow, you'll probably tell me you don't understand what I'm going through. No, I do get it. I've been in it. I've been bullied, right? I've been bullied when I was young. I've been with people who, look past me and talk to other people. Like I don't even exist in some conversation. I have been in them where they pretty much passed my eyes and went to the next person and talked to them. So all of those things, we have to understand that, the person who's doing that has a problem, not us, right?
Right. Right. But it's really hard when you're feeling all of the feels, when you're totally in your feels. It's so hard to be like, that's their problem. You are you.
Yes. Yeah. That's the hardest part. Survival mode and thinking past certain things is hard. It doesn't happen, coexist, right? Survival mode mean I'm protecting my all aspects of my life.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's all about protection. Yeah.
Protection, right? So there's no way I can think about logically, okay, oh yeah, it's their fault, or they're the one who has a problem, not me. We're just going to have that protection mode activated full scale, which is going to be either fight, right? It's going to be fight them, or I'm just going to flee out of this place and I need to escape this, right? Or avoid this. That's all it's going to happen. I understand that. But let's talk about letting go of some of the past things, right? Because past doesn't serve us, right? Even if that's happening to you right now, going into your past and bringing the past to the now and saying like, when I was a child, this is what happened. Here am I again. This is what's happening. So look at what's happening again, right? So we want to like take the lesson, whatever it is, and then let it go. That one of the lessons I learned through all my bullying and all of that things that I endured when I was young is that a lot of people bully, a lot of people say things because they don't know about me. They don't know about me, or they don't understand me, right? That's why they do it. So whenever it happened to me when I was young, that is what I would always tell myself. You don't know who I am. You're saying stuff that when you don't even know who I am, how can you even say this? In my head, it didn't make any sense. That is the statement I always said. You don't know who I am. Why are you saying things that doesn't make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The only person who can say all of this is if they know me. But I know you don't know me. You just want to make fun of me, but you don't know me. So I'm not going to take you seriously. So we can decide that, but we do have to remember and force ourselves to do that, right? It's a big time forced activity within ourselves. So take the lesson, let go of the past, and then come to here and now. But also, what about the future? Were you worried about the future, Kim, when you were in that situation, in that toxic workplace?
Yeah, I mean, I was worried about a few aspects of the future. I was worried that I was going to have a major health crisis, and that would mean that I couldn't take care of my daughter. I was worried that I was going to have to leave my work and had take a penalty from my retirement. There were a lot of things that like I was like, I was in survival, but I was also like, oh no, what if? Yes. And that led to other anxieties.
Yes. So same, future is something that we can project our past plus the right now, whatever's happening. If it's toxic, then we project all the future stuff to be what? The worst come scenarios, right? We're imagining all the worst scenarios, right? Yeah. There's nothing in the future we're going to picture it to be nice when we're in that protection mode. It's always, what if this happens? What if that happens? I don't think I'm going to have a job. What if I don't even have enough money? What if I'm not there for my daughter? All of these what if is going to drive more anxiety to now and here. And the now, already being anxious and overwhelmed in the now, you have double, triple to the anxiety. So now it's nothing is serving anybody, right? So again, future is available, but we cannot create the future, right? If I can have that ability, we all be doing a lot of things, right? But we don't have the ability to predict future for us to create the future. We can set some intention, but we do have to release it, bless it, release it. So bringing our hand here and now. So when you learned the readiness OS, Kim, it helped you to do what? What were the shifts that has happened to bring yourself now and here, even in that toxic place?
Yeah, I mean, the major shift was to keep me in the now and to be able to be like, okay, this is what's in front of you. This is what, you have control over. So let's work on those things and put the other things aside.
Yes. Yes. And that's a conscious conversation, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is. I mean, I use talk to your brain, and I had to, remind myself that I wasn't the things that my boss was saying I was, or, that she didn't understand me and didn't understand my work. And so she was misunderstanding what was happening. Talking to my brain, breathing. We've talked before about the ritual I had of washing my hands at the end of the day to leave the toxicity at work and to go home so that I could be present for my daughter when she needed me.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Is there something else you start practicing as well, along with now and here? Talk to your brain. Anything else physically? Did you help your body during this time? And what do you do now as well?
Yeah. Yes. So I do breathing. I'm big on breathing. And, if I find myself in a space where I'm in a fight or flight, I have found that cold water or an ice cube will reset my vagus nerve. And so that will actually settle me down and bring me back to now and bring me back to
cold water. Drink cold water, ice water.
Well, actually, I put my hands in it.
Oh, hands in
that cold water. Yeah, I actually use that cold water right on my hands and wrists.
Okay, so put it into an ice water, your hand.
Yes.
Okay, both.
What's that? Both hands.
Like both hands.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Put it under the ice water, like both of them. For how long?
How long? It doesn't take long. It just kind of resets or shocks your system. And that is a trigger for your vagus nerve to allow you to kind of reset.
That's beautiful. Because ice bathing, and like people do the ice bath and stuff, right?
Yeah.
To shock the system, right? And they say it burns calorie and stuff like that. And some people wash their face with ice, like they put their face inside the ice.
Yeah.
But this is putting your hand.
Yeah. I take hot showers, but then I end with really cold water.
Oh yeah. I try.
And that kind of gets me ready for my day. I don't drink coffee or anything, so
I don't know how you do that, because that just
I don't know. My secretaries used to say they'd have to peel me off the ceiling.
Because where you live is cold too. I don't know how you do it. I can do it where I live. It's hot. So cold water is like luxury here for me when I put that on my body. But if I'm anywhere in cold and doing that, I cannot see it. It has to be super hot.
Yeah. No, I mean, it definitely, when going from the hot to the cold, it is a shock to your system. But it is something that they say you can use when you're having nervous system challenges.
So let's do a breathing. What's your favorite breathing technique?
Yeah, so my favorite breathing is honestly, it's the box breathing. But I was thinking today that maybe we would do a breathe in for 6 and then an out for 8 and then hold 2 at the bottom.
Okay, let's do it. Do you want to lead us?
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to breathe in for 6. And then we're going to breathe out for 8. And then hold for 2. And then in for 6 again. Out for 8. Hold for 2.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
needed that. Oh, that was good. That's different.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but as long as you're exhaling for longer than you're inhaling, it brings your system back to calm. So
Yeah. I felt it in my head. Like it was kind of going you know how you feel like what is that feeling when you feel lightheaded a little
yeah.
bit? I felt like that. I felt like that. You ever get that?
Oh yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I felt. So tell me, what was your day to day actually feel like when you were in that situation?
Oh, back when I was in that hard
Yes.
work situation. Oh, it was awful. Was um, I was getting what I thought were migraines, many
Yep.
many migraines, even though I get Botox treatments for them, so they're not supposed to. I'm not supposed to feel them. I was continuing to get them, and lo and behold, when I ended up at the ER and everything else, we realized that my blood pressure was incredibly high. So what I thought were migraines were actually blood pressure headaches, and they had been going on for quite a while. Um, One med didn't help, so they ended up putting me on two. But I was less productive, even though I was working harder and pushing through and doing all of the things that they say to do, right? Like ignore the feelings and work harder, push through. I was less productive because my head wasn't on right. It just wasn't right.
But isn't it sad that we're told to push harder when you're feeling all these sickness in this body?
Yes. Yep.
Like, what do we think this is? Like abuse? You just abuse it as much as possible,
Right.
right? This is a body. It's a biologically living body.
Right.
Why don't we honor it? Why don't we honor it when it gives us signals like high blood
Yes.
pressure,
Right.
migraines? Those are all signals.
They're
Something's not.
100%. My body, my systems were saying, alert, alert, alert.
And then we
You
go, no,
need
no,
to,
no,
you need
no,
to
we're not gonna,
take a
right?
step
We're not gonna
back.
listen to
Yeah.
it. We're not gonna listen to it. We're just gonna push to. It's almost like if the submarine or something has the flashing light on, we're like, oh yeah, it's flashing, but we're just gonna keep on
We're
riding
just
it. We're gonna be up down in here at the lowest part of the ocean because
Yep.
it's fine. It's no problem. It's just beeping, but we're not gonna think about it. I mean, it doesn't make sense to say that even, right?
No.
But why don't we respect this body? Like, when did we learn? What happened? When did we learn that this is okay?
I don't know. I think culturally there's this, do more, push harder. There's just such a culture out there um, of that attitude. And like nobody ever taught us that our body is constantly giving us feedback and signals. And if we pay attention to that and we treat our body with respect, then we will actually be much more productive in the long run.
Yeah. So pushing harder, working longer hours, taking work home, right?
Taking work
All of
home.
these things were gonna calm your blood pressure down. Was that the idea?
Well, I mean, the idea wasn't even that I was going to make myself better, right? Like
Yeah.
the idea was I still had a job to do, and let's just ignore the physical
Signal.
experiences and signals that I was having, And I ended up at the doctor, which they sent me immediately to the ER. And, I ended up going through a whole bunch of testing, and I took a little bit of time off for that. But then I was right back into the grind. And I, and it was, when you're in it, there doesn't feel like any other option. Like when you're in that, stress environment and you have a job to do and financially you need the job, you can't just walk away from the job. Like there, you get almost like tunnel vision.
Yeah.
That is unhealthy. And, so I was just focused on, I got to get the work done. I got to get the work done. I got to get the work done. And it was like, never mind that your blood pressure's through the roof and you're not actually functional right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there was no prerequisite. We need our prerequisite to do the work we need to do, right?
Absolutely.
But we don't think of it as a prerequisite. So let's go to now. They've heard your experience and how hard you pushed, and eventually the harder you pushed, you end up in the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see, going back as that time as a parent, how hard was you to be there while you're suffering, while you're pushing harder to be there for your daughter?
Yeah, it was incredibly challenging. And she, for those of you that don't know, my daughter has a chronic illness, and so she has her good days and her bad days, and then her a lot of those not so great days, but not terrible days. And she's reliant on me for a lot of things. A lot of days she doesn't feel well enough to be able to prepare herself a meal, or um, you know, get to the pharmacy to get her medication or whatever. And I was in a space where I certainly wasn't in a headspace. She's also an empath, so she absorbs energy. So here I am in this coming home from this toxic environment with this toxic energy, and she's picking up on that. And now her mood is worse. And she certainly doesn't need that when she's trying to deal with her illness.
Yes.
So I was not a good parent. I was in that moment, in that time, I was not a good parent at all. And I can only do better moving forward.
Yeah. That's why it's so important the workplace to be such a beautiful place for everyone. It should be like a beautiful garden, right? We're not going there to compete with each other. We're coming together to do a job that requires every one of us to come together collectively. So if one person starts being the better person or the worst person, it just doesn't work. And then that affects parenting so much at home, because when you come home, you can't let the toxic out the door. You're going to bring it into the house.
Yes.
Right. So no wonder parents are struggling so much to parent, because and a lot of kids like young people don't even want to have kids. They're like, it's too much work, right? Because they already feel like the job is enough for me to handle that stress. I don't want a child in my life to another stress, right?
Right.
Like jobs have become so much stress for them because workplaces are not that healthy anymore. Like they're not offering a healthy balance or a healthy behavior by individuals. They're, like you say, in this environment. But I think every offices can say the same thing.
I think so. I don't think that I had a unique experience. I think that more and more, I think a lot of people are in that push harder, push through, that survival mode where their nervous system is just protecting. And when you put a whole bunch of people that have stress into an environment, they feed off each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So no wonder parents are having hard time parenting, because if they're coming from a job like that, can you imagine then dealing with the kids at home? And then sometimes you have kids who are doing some things at school where you get called to the school. We have to deal with the school situation and they're not performing maybe. Then you have to find a tutor. Then you have to take care of that. So there's a lot. Workplace contributes to a lot of what's going to come home that night.
It does. It absolutely does. And all I can say is I was fortunate in being in that rough time that my daughter was an adult. Because if she had been a preteen when she was having so many behavioral issues and her own mental health issues, I don't know. I don't know how I would have survived or how she would have survived. So I understand when I see parents, posting on Facebook that they feel like they don't like their child, or they're just in this really negative loop. And, it is partially because of the kid's nervous system and partially because the parent's nervous system and
workplace.
Yes.
Workplace.
And the workplace.
Yeah. Workplace dramas and traumas and everything.
Yeah.
Right. So, I've been talking to parents. I had some parents a couple of days ago. I was talking to parents about how they're having a hard time to get help. Now we can see why that is, right? If we just come back to this situation, like if somebody said to you at that time, like, I can help you, Kim, would you have added that to your plate, or would you have said, no, thank you. I just need to stay with what I can handle right now?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like when I was in it, I would have been like, I don't have room for one more thing. I don't have capacity. And that really was what it was about, right? I had no capacity.
Yes. So we understand parents who say no to our clarity meeting or can't show
Yes.
up to the clarity meeting. They book it and they never show up, and then they get guilty or ashamed that I didn't show up, and they ghost us. Like they don't
Yeah.
even show I'm sorry again. So when we look at it from this lens, like one that you gave me today,
Yes.
it seems like capacity and I can't take one more takes over in that survival mode. And
Yes.
even if somebody's giving you the world's best way to end this, you don't see it.
Right.
You
You
won't buy
can't
it.
get out of the muck to see that it might be something that can pull you to safety.
What would there be anything that somebody could have said helped you to come out of that
Um,
at that time? If you think back, if I had said anything, would something could have helped you to rethink that? Because I see this, many parents are doing this right now.
yeah.
Many of them don't keep saying that they're busy, and they're also scared that they don't want to sign up to anything that's not going to work because they've been told it's going to work, and they have been
Yeah.
not they've been promised something but never got to be delivered. So they're like, this is another thing that's going to take my time and waste my time. So
Mhm.
what would have made you maybe even like slightly consider some help?
Yeah, that's a good question. I like as I think back, I mean the thing that I wanted more than anything was to change the personnel at work, right? But I had no control over that. But I think what ended up happening was that I, had started your program, and I was learning more about nervous system and learning more about all of the systems that we have and how when they're blocked you really can't, it's what's keeping you from moving forward.
Yeah.
So I mean I think maybe if somebody had explained to me that there, that you can find those blocks within your inner biological systems, and it will get better.
Yeah. I'm wondering, what if I had said it will give you more time? Would that make you change your mind? Like, I can make more time for you,
Yeah, that probably would have.
because time was a big part of your
Time is a big
life.
part of what parents, say. There's no time for anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And how would I prove to you that this is gonna work? Like, because you probably seen a therapist as well.
I've
How
seen a
can I
therapist.
convince you? I don't like convincing, but how can I share with you that it works? What would I have to say to someone in survival mode to get them to see that this does work?
I mean, I guess maybe just sharing your own experience and how, you were there. Like I was there. I was in it.
Yeah.
I'm literally the one that ended up sent to the ER and that ended up on a number of medications and everything. And I was able, through support, through your program, to come out the other side and come out the other side in a much better place.
Yeah. So the only way for someone in survival mode to even comprehend out external help, share with somebody, open up with somebody, because a lot of the time when we're in that, we tend to close, right? We went to
Yeah, close
we
off.
isolate ourselves. Isolation is part of that, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I just need to, yeah. So that's not a healthy place to be. That
No,
increases.
it's definitely not. Feeling isolated and feeling like you're the only one going through something when it's actually really common right now for parents to be overstressed and burnt out and feeling like there's no time and wanting to do better with their children and have better connections, but just not having capacity.
Yes. So what are you going what can you offer the parents who tell their kids try harder, work harder, working harder, like if you're coming back to the kid side of it?
Right. Yeah. So, well, if you're pushing kids to work harder, try harder, and push through when their mental health or their nervous system or their emotional state is in survival, like I was, they're not going to be able to, and it's actually just going to compound more problems, which may end up coming out as physical headaches, stomach aches, anxiety about not wanting to go to school. So there really is There really is a better way, and that better way is to always come back to what state is your child in. Like, is your child in a state where they can push harder and they can try harder? Or do they need a little bit of support and back off to get to baseline and safety?
Yes. You said in the notes you sent me something about 10-minute resets. Did you share with me that?
Oh, yeah. So, yes.
Tell us about that. What is the 10-minute reset?
Yeah. So sometimes, I needed them as a parent when we were having, my daughter and I were kind of going head to head a lot when she was younger. And sometimes that 10-minute reset was me taking a break. Like, I need to take a break right now. Like, my nervous system, I'm ready to yell, scream, throw something. I'm not in a space where I can be supportive of my daughter, who's also in a space where she's yelling and wanting to throw things and everything else. So there are things that you can do in terms of just taking a quick reset, in terms of doing some breathing, that cold water, take yourself out of that situation. Sometimes the 10-minute reset, when your child is really, really struggling, even though you feel like you don't have the time, is to get down on their level and just be present. Be present with your child. And what you'll find is that presence will bring the child back to a place of calm, so that you save time later and you're not having the 45-minute or hour and a half battle.
Yeah. So, as a result of everything you started doing, what were the biggest shifts that you started seeing in your personal life? Like when you started implementing Readiness OS?
Yeah. So I was actually more productive at work, because what I started doing was, while I was at work, I would be like, you know what? I would do a check-in. I would do a check-in with myself and say, where are my thoughts going? Where are my emotions? What is my physical right now? And then I would just be like, you need to take a break. And I would just leave my office and I would walk outside. I would collect some sunlight, get some fresh air, just 5 minutes, maybe 10, and then come back inside. And then I could revisit it with fresh eyes, with fresh breath. And I was actually getting more done.
Yeah, that's the beauty about it. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of honoring your biology, right?
Yes.
Your biological system.
Yep.
I don't know, I always think about a plane or a car or anything that we have to get ready to make it work. Why not think of this body as we have to get ready to make it work?
Yeah.
But we think of it the opposite way. We think if it's already tired and showing me these signals, I'm just going to make it work even harder. I mean, I don't understand that. Why did we turn into this way? Like, I don't get it.
I'm not sure. I don't know that I have an answer for that.
Yeah. So strange, right? Because plane, you don't do that. You don't just say, okay, I think we're ready. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I saw something actually a week or so ago where a plane had to pause from takeoff because there was a bee's nest in at one of the engines. And so they had to reboot. They had to get like a bee person to come and take the bees and get all the bees out. And it was like, thank goodness they did that, because if those bees ended up in the engine, then, they could have had problems with the plane. But we do that with planes.
Yes.
We do that when our service light comes on in our car, or we have flashing lights. We go and find out what's wrong with our car. Yeah. But when our planes are doing those same flashing lights, we just ignore them and keep going.
It's probably because we don't have a light. We should install one.
Could be.
Maybe if there's a real light flashing, then
right, if there's an actual light flashing.
Maybe it's the light that's missing. That's probably why we ignore them. Because like this morning, I gave somebody to park my car and came back and there was a light. I immediately was like this. What is that light? Like, it was instant.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what I'm thinking. Maybe the light is what's missing, on our body. The God must, when God designed us, he would have put some light, we could then tell. We're
Right.
off. My body's not functioning. Okay, we have a signal here. We got to figure it out because we take the manual, right? I don't know about you. Like sometimes I don't know what the lights even mean in the car. Some of them,
Yeah.
like the tire signal on some
Mhm.
cars, doesn't even make sense. It just doesn't look like a tire. The air is low. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen that? Like
Yes.
tire,
Yep.
it doesn't look like tire, right? It looks like something else is happening.
Yes.
Like the symbol doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to me.
I literally had to get new tires because my tire kept losing air and going low. So yeah.
Low, right?
So and you know what I did? I found a way to pay for those tires and I got new tires on my car.
Yeah,
So like why when I was getting these terrible headaches, these
yeah,
pounding headaches, and my blood pressure was so high, why did I not say this is a signal?
yes. No, we don't look at it that way. I think we also take it for granted, right? Our body is so versatile, right? Like
Yeah.
it just takes so much abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I look at, growing up with my brother being alcoholic and stuff. Like I look at how much he drinks or some other people how much they drink. I'm like, where does this body put all of this? Like, you
Yeah.
know, the amount of stuff, the abuse it's taking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also it could be with food. Some people eat so much food, like it's an abuse to your body. Like what is the body supposed to do with it? But it accommodates though. Isn't
Right.
that
It does. Your
interesting?
body is very accommodating and it just keeps taking the abuse that you're giving it. And
That's another thing. I think we take it for granted. For
yeah,
the body is so capable of managing so much more, even though it's giving the signal, right? Even through your headaches, even through your blood pressure, you still pushed to try to get work done.
I did. I
Yeah.
absolutely did.
So then the body had to keep compensating and compensating, and then finally one day it will crash, and
Right.
it
And
has.
that's and fortunately I didn't end up having like a heart attack or anything. Um because but I was getting there. Like I was going that direction. And so now I it's very different. Like I listen to my body, and if my body is saying today is not that day, then I know that a headache means something serious and that I need to revisit what I'm doing and how I'm taking care of myself. So
Yes. So, as far as to give people some takeaway today to parents or teachers or anyone who's listening to us, right? We can coach anyone and everyone.
absolutely.
So, to give them, like, even though you're in this place of very toxic, negative, your body is signaling that something's going off, but you still have to push harder. What could they remember, even in that situation? What could they remember? Continue to remember.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they need to do is remember that your body is full of systems and they are giving you those lights. They're giving you those signals. They may not be an actual light, but they're giving you signals. And you need to take a minute, take 30 seconds and just do a check in, do a body check in, do a full body scan. Where are your shoulders? Are they hunched up or are they stressed? Are you getting a headache? Is your stomach churning? And at least become aware that your body is telling you that something is amiss, that your systems are alerting you that something needs to be addressed.
Yeah. And that survival mode, the next question I want to ask is how can they reach out to help and get help? Because a lot of the time when we get into that survival mode, we avoid all sorts of stuff because as you said, there's no capacity for it. I'm not going to take on anything anymore, right?
Right.
So how somebody in that position take even a small tiny step moving forward? Because if they don't get help, it's not going away. The toxicity at school is not going away. At workplace, it's not going away. It's just going to be there. How do we start either getting out of the survival mode or understanding the survival mode, right? At least I should start understanding I am in survival mode.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, if you're not in a position where you can reach out to one of the coaches, we have a number of coaches that are all familiar with the Readiness OS system and that can help coach through that. Then at least do a little bit of research about nervous system and recognizing that you're living your life chronically in dysregulation in this fight or flight or flee mode. and eventually your body will catch up to you, unfortunately, or fortunately, so that you can. But you really just need to take that 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and check in on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything you want to leave for teachers who are in a toxic situation like you were once?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I would say that one of the best things that a teacher can do is get familiar with the state that their kids are in, that their students are in, because so many of our students are in that survival mode, that fight or flight, and they're not learning ready. And so we're seeing more behaviors in the classroom and everything else. So get familiar with that state and implement simple things. There's a lot of different YouTube videos and everything for breathing and for calming the nervous system down, and it's really, really worth it. It seems like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do breathing for a couple of minutes, but sometimes that few couple of breaths that we did, like at the beginning, is enough to bring a few kids back to calm.
Yes. And also accept that you are in survival mode. Nobody should be working in toxic places like you described, right? Where
Yeah.
constant attack, constant criticism, constant not enough, work more. This just doesn't do anything for anybody. So if you're in one of those, you have to really turn it around and say, it's not me. It's them. Like you have to start. I'm doing everything. Like other day, one of our other coach said at her school, they're like, you're not doing enough. She said, I'm doing more than anyone can, and my students are doing really well. What do you mean I'm not doing enough? They used to not even do any work. Now I got them to do work, and they actually give me some stuff, finished things, and this is an improvement. This is healthy
Right.
improvement. But they don't see it. They don't see it because it's not enough.
It's never enough. Unfortunately, it's probably never going to be enough. And so you just have to kind of take that stand for yourself, for your own self, and be like, you're doing everything that you can. And part of doing everything you can is taking care of yourself.
Yes, that's the important part. If you're not home here, it doesn't matter anywhere you go, it's gonna follow you, right? It's a big weakness when you're not home in your own soul. So coming back to yourself and taking care of yourself is so important, and accepting and becoming aware that this is a messed up situation I'm in. I'm not creating this. I'm not part of this, but I'm in it. Unfortunately, I have to be in it. So how do I protect myself at any time? How do I protect myself? And how do I protect my time with others that I love, right? Because when we're in a toxic work environment, we carry that home. And it shows every part of it. Well, I have to say that your skin is glowing. I know you have a light on in front of you, but still is glowing because I think that's the rest, right? When we start resting, our skin responds. I find that with every coach that comes into the program after like 4 or 5 weeks into the program, they're always glowing because finally they're able to breathe and let go of things instead of holding on.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like I look younger than I did 2 or 3 years ago.
You are.
Because some of that stress is gone.
So if you're in a very toxic coworker or somebody higher than you, just remember that a lot of the time when somebody else is creating all of that, it's they're going through something too. Like just start to have some compassion for them. I mean, you're just like, I'm so sorry you're this worse because of you must be going through something. Instead of thinking they're after us, thinking after us, we can use the compassion lens from us and say, you must be going through something very terrible to be this terrible in life. I mean, really, honestly, right? Otherwise, why would you be terrible to any human being? Obviously, you're going through something. I feel very sorry for you, right?
Yeah.
Because
and I can tell you that that's a hard thing to do, but you're absolutely right. You're right.
But if I do that, I actually almost at the same time I'm angry, I'm also forgiving them. I'm having some compassion. Like I really feel sorry for you because I cannot see a human being at your age doing things like this.
Right. Behaving in the way that you're behaving. So clearly there's something going on for you.
Yeah. It just helps you. more than
It
it helps
does.
them, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, you're thinking they're against me, it's me. All of these starts going in
Yep.
our head. Instead, we can protect by saying this person's going through something miserable. I mean, otherwise, they can't be this miserable to other human beings.
Yeah.
There must be. So sorry. I just want to pray for them. Like, we have to get into that place of like allowing this person who's behaving this way to, like, in our mind, allowing ourselves to believe that this person is acting this way because they're going through something. And I just wish they could just talk about it instead of being the worst person in the building.
Instead of taking it out on others.
Of
Yeah.
other people, right? So, and especially when you're in a workplace like school, you don't need a lot of these people. You just need one person to ruin the whole environment for everybody, right? Just one negative person, right? So
Absolutely.
that's why these days, if I get on a call, I talk to a lot of people. If I get on a call, I'm very short on my calls right now because my energy was so affected on and
Yes.
off with people I talk to, because I have to like quickly find alignment. If the alignment is not there, I cannot talk for too long because it's just too much cost in energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we have to protect our energy, we have to protect our sacred circle, right? Draw a circle and don't let anybody into that circle, because the more people crowd us, more things that comes closer and closer to us is when our body gets more signaled, which we would then learn to ignore, and then we chronically live with symptoms and pain and
Yeah.
suffering.
I mean, that's one of the things that I ended up recognizing and doing was recognizing that everybody was so miserable. And to sit there and commiserate in that misery was not helping anybody.
No.
So, like, we had to kind of shift and make a conscious effort to be more positive about things and to only, not let the negative take over and be more positive, and or just remove yourself from the people that are so negative.
Yes. So why working harder made everything worse was the title of the today's show. So it's working worse. Why is it making it worse, Kim?
Well,
What
it
do you
made
think?
it worse for me because I like it literally had my body breaking down physically. Like I had a job to do and I was going to get that job done, darn it. And it literally drove my body into the ground.
Because we're supposed to give too, right? Then we have the giver's syndrome, right? Like overgiving, generosity syndrome. I have to give until I burn all candle out, and then I don't even know I'm not alive anymore. If I'm a candle, if I compare myself to a candle, if I keep burning and burning and burning, I will be nothing left.
Right.
So when whoever is working in the care or caregiving or caretaker position or somewhere where you're close to human being, one-on-one human being interactions, really we have to protect ourselves first.
We do.
This is it. If you're not home, you're not protecting yourself, you're not going to be useful for anyone, and including for yourself. We have to stop putting, I have to help, I need to do the work, to, am I ready to do the work?
Yep.
That's the biggest shift. Am I ready to do the work? So if you keep asking that, that's going to be a game changer too. So it's really important not to feel like you're alone. If you're a parent, we are here to support you. So reach out to Kim. She's on all social media. She helps parents. She helps young kids, including teenagers, right? Teenagers.
I
All the
do.
way.
Yep.
Yeah. She's got an amazing program. So reach out to her, get help. You're not alone. And she offers free clarity meeting. The first meeting is always free. Just join her instead of Googling 3 a.m. in the morning. I don't know what to do. Just use the help that's available and learn more and get clarity and then move forward. I know it's hard when you're in survival mode, but you have to do it.
Yes.
You have to push yourself to do it.
For yourself, for your children, you have to do it.
Yeah. So it's like, we can give you I always go back to the mask that falls in the airplane.
Yes.
We know you're in survival, so we're giving it to you. You're like, no, I can't put this on. I don't have the capacity to put this on. You have to think of it as that's how dangerously you're in from burnout or crashing, and mentally or physically, right? Because the body does take a toll after a certain point if you keep living like this. So why not think of it as that mask coming down? And I know you probably don't have the capacity to do it, but the mask is down. You're not going to fight with the mask when the plane's going down.
Right. Just
You
take the mask.
just put it on.
Take the help. Put it on.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not going to think about it. If you think about it, it's too late. That's how it is right now in your life. So why not take the help? Come to the meeting. It's 45 minutes and you'll have clarity and walk away and then breathe again. Breathe and have a better situation, even in the worst situation that's happening to you at workplace or in other situations, right? Just make it the best you can. I know it's hard in survival, but we have to make the best. And that's what we're going to encourage all the time, right? That's what we do, is encourage you to take that first step. Awesome. Thank you, Kim. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. And thank you for all your comments. Keep sending them in. And thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.